Cornyn. He has a good amount of people here supporting him. This is at the Fort Worth Officers Association, so he's showing his strength in law enforcement support. And here's the crazy thing: he's not late. He's right here. I got a little picture with him. Friendly guy. He's the first candidate to be on time, so you got to give a lot of respect for that. He'll be speaking. He was chatting with people, saying hello, so I'll go and ask some people some questions and see exactly what's happening, and ask them why they're here to support. Waiting for somebody to ask. All right, got two people watching. Not bad. You got a nice little setup, as you can see. But we'll probably go. How are you? We're good. No pressure, but I have a YouTube. I'm covering all the candidates. I'm wondering if I might ask you what issue is most important to you and why you're supporting the senator. But don't let me keep you.
You're my new friend.
No pressure. Put you on the spot with pressure. You can get back to me. You can get back to me if you want. Appreciate it. Just my name, Dodge Landesman. So it's a weird name. You search DODGELANDESMAN. And I'm just traveling around covering all the candidates. Cornyn is my favorite. I think it is the strongest in the general election by a mile. But so I wanted to cover him, and I've been to all of the events. I think I'm the only one with a photo with both Crockett and John Cornyn. So it's a little unusual, but I like Cornyn a lot better.
So we're not with the police.
Many hats.
She was asking who were with the police. I was like, no,
cool.
I'm a realtor.
Oh, nice.
She does retirement investing.
Very cool.
And who are you?
Good question. I want to ask you a favor if you're interested, but no pressure. I have a YouTube, so I'm traveling the country covering all the candidates. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Cornyn is far away my favorite though. Kind of flashed out the support, especially on social media. Wondering if you might want to say what issue is most important and why you're supporting it.
Well, obviously,
Let me know. I'm filming. I wasn't filming you, but now I'm about to, just to give you that. You're the best. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Andra Beatty. I'm a local Fort Worth realtor, and for us, the safety and security of our neighborhoods is the most important. John Cornyn is a good man. He's been really good for legislation for Texas, and he's helped keep our neighborhoods safe and secure. For me, your neighborhood is everything, and John Cornyn delivers.
Very well put. And you think he's a good supporter of law enforcement and has been an advocate for funding in this neck of the woods?
Absolutely. John Cornyn has been a strong proponent for law enforcement, following the laws, following the rules, and being fair. And that's what I really love about supporting John Cornyn. He is an incredible candidate.
Very well put. And are you going to be out here for election day for him? Are you going to volunteer, help out, or call some neighbors?
Absolutely. Being a real estate broker, I have a few hours here and there that I can dedicate, and would love to spend some time helping him with his campaign.
Very cool.
It's going to be complicated with 3 candidates, and we need to keep John Cornyn. He is a good man with a proven record and the experience that we need in Washington.
And do you think he'll pull it off? It seems like he has a lot of support for people who actually vote, or connected with their community, connected with involvement, which is a stronger percentage of people actually go out and vote. So are you feeling that he'll have a decent victory, or are you a little nervous, or kind of time will tell?
I honestly feel like he's going to have a strong victory. It's going to be complicated all the way down to the wire in November. It's going to be complicated with 3 people in the race, but John Cornyn is a proven leader, and he's proven himself with his experience and dedication to all that matters to Texas. So I feel like he's going to pull this out.
Well put. And then last thing, is somebody involved in your community who's going to be helping him out. Are you more nervous about Tellerico or Crockett, or do you think it doesn't make a difference? People see his record, and that's what it is.
It doesn't make me nervous because John Cornyn is such a strong, proven leader, but it's going to be expensive, and the campaigns are going to expend tremendous amounts of money, and that's going to be hard. That's going to be really hard. Keep your message, keep your dedication, keep your focus on those voters, those people that been supporting you all along. I think he'll still pull that one out as well. He's a good man with a good message, and he cares about his neighbors.
I think he thinks for himself and, has been supportive of the president, but independent in other things, which is going to be a selling point in a general election.
Absolutely.
I think very effectively. So I think he's going to pull out the primary and win by 12%. 12 or 13 is my guess. I don't think it'll be that close.
I love it.
We have people like you helping out. So honor to meet you. Well, thank you. You're the best.
Sir.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Cool. Well, she was very informative. Nice to see. You're mean. All right. We have about 15 minutes. We'll talk to some other people. See what's going on. As you can see, it's good police law enforcement support, police association. Guys, what's going on? Hey, good, thank you. No pressure, but I got a little YouTube covering the Senate race, so I'm interviewing Not a lot of people want to talk, which is usually the case. Not too surprising, but we'll try to get some other people. And hopefully, because he's right, he's actually here, so he should be here right on time. He's probably be speaking in about 13 minutes, give or take. But I'm happy because usually all I need is I want a little bit from each camp. And she was so good. It's all I really needed was her little soundbite. She was pretty awesome. But I'll get some other people for you. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Good. I have a little YouTube, no pressure, but I'm covering the Senate race. Oh, you're okay. You want to press people too? Got a lot of press here. I'm not the only one. So you can see we have a lot of press. Let's see what we have. CBS, NBC. A lot of different stuff. You guys are welcome to comment in the chat, see if I missed anything. No, not yet. She's doing a bunch of interviews. I'll ask her something. Hey, how are you?
Before I mean,
Yes. Don.
What are you all about?
Good question. So I have YouTube, and I'm covering the election, covering the primary. I remember you from before, no pressure, but I'd love to ask you why you might be supporting the senator,
Keeping the border secure.
Okay, yeah.
For sure.
And he's been good. I mean, that's the thing. He's been conservative on the border the whole time for over 20 years, right? So that's why I'm surprised there's this opposition. But are you feeling good about things? He seems to have support from activists who actually are involved in the community, which kind of vote in bigger numbers. So are you feeling pretty comfortable?
I'm a precinct captain, so
you're-
I'm a door knocker.
Keep up the good work. I've seen you, yeah. So you're really out
I
there.
put plastic bags, doorknobs, with brochures inside.
Cool. You get the little palm cards and yeah.
That's right.
And the Slim
That's what I
Jims.
do.
Well, you've been doing a good job because when I'm speaking to voters, a lot of people have said they've heard from Cornyn people, but they haven't heard from Paxton or they haven't heard from the Hunt people. So the ground game must be actually very decent.
Good.
So, you're doing a good job. And how do you think this election's going to be won? Do you think it's advertisements, ground game, a mix of both?
Well, I wish I knew. I know that I'm expecting there'll be a runoff between him and Paxton.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many people splitting up the vote. So, and then what happens is with the runoffs, you get fewer people actually showing up to vote.
Right.
So, one problem I mentioned to you, since you're a podcast kind of guy, is that Texas does have one big problem, and it is that there's too many elections.
It's bizarre. Yeah, you're right.
They should all be synchronized because you're diluting the enthusiasm of the voters. Yeah, so if you can carry that message to Senator Cornyn, I'm serious about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If we were to synchronize the elections, we'd get higher vote turnout, and I believe a more representative republic democracy.
Yeah. Because I wonder how big the drop-off is from the primary to the actual runoff. Like, I wonder what that percentage is, but it's probably at least 20, 30.
Ask AI, it'll tell you.
Yeah.
Go to Grok or ChatGPT or
Right.
something like that.
But no, that's an interesting thing. It kind of disempowers voters in that regard.
It does.
Everything, it's winner take all, or there's an automatic IRV.
All right, well, good luck to you, Doug.
Thank you. Honor to meet you. Thank you for the good meeting. I appreciate that. Nice to meet you. Cool. So he was interesting too. I think they're about to organize things, so we will. We'll probably just wait to get a good spot. Texas is so corrupt, says Daniel. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that at all. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I only got 3 people watching. Better than 0. Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
Good. I got a YouTube, no pressure, but I'm covering the race.
Oh, awesome.
Interviewing people about what candidates they might be interested in, what issues is most important. Any interest in speaking? No pressure.
I'm with the media here.
Oh, you are? Oh, you're with the media too? Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Keep up. What station?
So I'm with all the Nexstar affiliated stations
Oh, cool.
in the state of Texas. So I'm based out of KXN in Austin. We have 14 different markets in here.
Well, respect for Nexstar. I used to work for Gray,
okay.
which wasn't as good in terms of benefits and vacation with their employees as Nexstar was. And although I heard these days it's been diminished a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's standard news stuff.
Yeah.
Because I got a bunch of friends who work at Tegna who are afraid of the merger because they got nice benefits.
Yeah, Tegna's like creme de la creme.
Yeah. Creme de la creme benefits. And now
Right.
they're like, oh no, we're going to get mid-tier Nexstar benefits.
Yeah, again, when does that go through? Is it like a couple months? Like a deadline? There's still a negotiation.
Yeah, I think that's just yesterday. One changed the rule on the market cap, and then I think that the FTC themselves has to.
What's it? Because last time I was at TV was like 3 years ago. Have they taken have they minimized some of the people, like some of the anchors and stuff, or they cut any staff around here, or is this area so big? It kind of hasn't been touched.
I'm based out of Austin.
Okay, you're Austin. Cool. Well, Austin I'd be curious about too. Another big
So
one.
Austin is a pretty steady.
That's good.
The main transition is the full-time photog to being more MMJ focused. So myself and my colleague who's in the car right now, we're MMJs. So we
do everything.
We alternate days. We turn stories. So oftentimes he'll be photographing for me and I'll be photographing for him.
Right.
But
at least you get a photog.
Yes.
Early on, I had to be an MMJ. We had to do the camera and then also be in the front. I was like, how do you do that? So you've been there, done that.
Spokane, and I would do
Okay, so you did the lower market, yeah.
just do this. Sit on my hands. Right there.
That's it. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I guess it's a rite of passage, I guess. That's funny. That's a relief but that's a shame that now you have to rotate like that, even in a bigger city, which is interesting. At least you still get the photog.
That's a very interesting role we're in.
Yeah.
It's statewide politics. It's not a terrible amount of roles like this because it's usually local or national. But this is like a weird hybrid between we travel all the time to Houston and San Antonio and up here because we came up here for the Attorney General's debate last night.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. And we were going to stay because there was supposed to be day one of a federal trial this morning for people accused of shooting up an ICE facility.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
But yet, when they were in Port Iyer yesterday, they had a mistrial.
Wow.
So now my colleague is covering that mistrial, but I'm like, well, let's see there's got to be some candidate for it.
He found it. I didn't know that was going on. The mistrial's going on right now?
Yeah, so they were having jury selection yesterday.
Wow.
They couldn't find enough jurors to declare this trial, they're going to try again on Monday.
On Monday.
Yeah.
Nope. Well, Dan, I'm glad I spoke with you because I had no idea, and I also cover court. That's the thing about YouTube is nobody sends me press releases.
Yeah, we were down at the.
I'm glad I ran into
I
you.
alternated in and out, but my colleague was down in Corpus Christi for
Okay, all the way down south. Yeah, wow.
2.5 weeks at officer Uvalde CISD officer trial.
Okay, yeah, right. That's high profile.
Response or lack thereof to the shooting. He got acquitted.
Yeah, right.
So.
Okay, right. Oh, interesting. And so do you think the actual trial will happen on Monday? And so you think
I
Monday?
think they'll do more jury selection on Monday.
Okay, some more notes to self.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if that's a nice luxury. You can choose where you want to go. I'm trying to figure out, should I stay in Dallas or should I go to like Houston or Tellerino has something, but I already got them. I might stay in Dallas for that trial.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, thank you for the heads up. Pleasure to meet you. Wish you luck. Dodge, Landisman. Pleasure. I appreciate it.
Daniel, you see, my trick is I'm only going to participate in the Republican primary. I'm going to vote for whoever doesn't hold that office. Now, you could do that. You could do that. That is within your right. All right, guys, I think we got like 5 minutes. So you got to hear an interesting press conversation that had nothing to do with the election, but hopefully you enjoyed it.
And John Cornyn is in the building. That's the good news. So he should be speaking. I will give Cornyn a lot of credit. He is the first candidate not to be late. He's the first candidate not to be at least an hour late to their own event. He was early. He was like a half hour early. So we will hopefully see him in about 3 minutes. How you doing?
Good, how are you today?
Good, thank you. No pressure. I got a little YouTube. So I'm covering all the Senate elections, all the candidates. Cornyn's my favorite, but wondering if you might want to say why you support the senator and what issue might be most important to you. But you're the best. I appreciate that. Very cool jacket, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
You're welcome.
that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Unusual jacket wearers. You got to stick together. So yeah, what issue is most important to you in this race?
Yeah, I just think that Senator Cornyn has served our state and our country well. He's an honorable man, and he's a thoughtful man. And I just think in this day of difficult decisions that I have a lot of trust in his thought process, the decision he makes, and how he is a proven leader for our state and for our country. So I fully support him.
Very well put. Also, are you involved in politics or anything, or just just passionate for him?
No, I believe in what I believe, and I think that voting is so important in our country, but more importantly is being an educated voter. And so I try to be educated, and we've got to make sometimes hard decisions, but this one is an easy decision because Senator Cornyn's a proven entity, and he's done well in my mind. And we want more of Senator Cornyn.
Well put. And then, are you involved in your community? Because I ask, because it seems like disproportionately, the voters that I meet for Cornyn are very connected to their community. They're in real estate, they're in law enforcement. So you have an involvement as well.
Yeah, I actually head up what's called a cultural impact team.
Cool.
And what we do is we try to educate voters that first off, we have all these different elections in the state of Texas. So we have a little guide that we wrote up on all the different elections. What is a primary race?
Good for you. People need that for the down ballot stuff. They don't know.
They don't know. They don't understand. So we help there, but we educate. We share with people. We have a vote card that gives them the links where they can go get their sample ballots, and they can go find the times and the locations. And then we share a voter guide, and but we don't tell people who to vote for.
Just inform, yeah.
We want to educate them so they can go make educated decisions on their own.
That's why I think Cornyn's going to pull this off, because the people who are invested with him seem to be connected to 10 or 20 more people in their community that they can really influence. Those are the people who actually vote. So are you feeling comfortable about his victory? I think he'll pull it off quite comfortably.
Hey, at the end of the day, it's in God's hands.
Amen.
But
Amen.
I do feel confident that Senator Cornyn's going to win this election. Whether we have to go through a runoff or not, I mean, the odds are yes, but I think at the end of the day, he's going to prevail.
Here's a fun one. Do you think a lot of the Wesley Hunt voters will ultimately go for Cornyn? Because I see these comments on Facebook saying, I'm voting for Hunt, I'm not going to vote for Cornyn, but I'll never, ever vote for Paxton. So I wonder if you think a good percentage of them. Hard to say, but.
Hey, the polls, we can't always trust the polls.
Right.
But I do think it's a fair argument that there are moderate voters who will not vote for Ken Paxton, and either they stay out of it or they vote for the other side. And so I don't believe. I think we could lose the Republicans, senator from the state of Texas, if Senator Cornyn's not the candidate.
Well, and then would you prefer Tellerico or Crockett? Do you think it matters? I think it matters more if it's Paxton on the top of the ticket versus Cornyn.
Well,
I think Cornyn wins.
Hey, if you like politics, that's a fun race to watch.
It's been fun. I went to a Jasmine event. I'm not a fan of hers, but it was entertaining. She is entertaining.
Hey, I personally think Tallarico is I think he's a dangerous candidate, and for several reasons. But anyways, we just need Senator Cornyn to be the Republican nominee, and then we need to go vote in November. And I'm very confident that he'll win in November.
Well, it does make me nervous that somebody using Christianity to subvert Christian values, a sort of an excuse to be not that Christian. So, yeah, well played. Are you going to be doing anything for Cornyn on Election Day?
Yeah, I'm already doing stuff for him, but on Election Day, I have sent out a list of candidates, and I've had a lot of my friends. Matter of fact, I was telling the campaign this morning, I just served 12 people. I've changed their mind.
Wow, well done.
Switch over to, because, the one thing about Ken Paxton is that he knows that the vast majority of voters are uneducated, and he can spend. And a lot of people are just looking to be told who to vote for, and without looking at the facts themselves.
Yeah, so that's why you're here.
So I've had 12 people so far that they've changed their vote after seeing my list and come back and asking me a few questions. Why?
So that's the key thing I want to ask people. We got some people watching. They want to check out the list. Is there a website they could go to or anything? Or?
Well, it's a personal list from me.
Okay, so maybe I'll connect with you. I can blast it or something.
Because the group, the Cultural Impact team that I lead, again, we're not telling people who to vote for.
Okay.
We're educating people to vote.
Cool. Is there a website for the Cultural Impact?
Well, if you go to prestonwood.org/vote, you'll get to our site.
Awesome. Well, you gave me a lot of good material. Yeah. You're the best. I appreciate it. Honor to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Keep up the good work. I think it's gonna be a blowout ultimately. I think so. Hey, Jen, nice to have you. We're at Cornyn's event. And there's the senator himself on time. Again, he is the first guy that's on time. I'm going to pretend I'm real news and sneak in with the big boys here. This is a pretty good view, eh? I think he's about to speak relatively soon, so we will assume the position to get a decent spot. Nice to have you attend to Leon. Talk to some cool people today. It's hard. You go to all these events, and you end up liking everybody, and you shouldn't, because they're on very different sides. But everybody's kind of real nice to speak to, including at Jasmine's event, including at Cornyn's, including at Paxton's, including at Tellerico's. Texans are friendly too. I remember going to New Jersey and I couldn't really talk to anybody because they're a lot more rude. Texans are a lot more friendly. So. Texas are Texas, ain't that the truth? Jen, who do you like? Do you prefer Paxton or do you prefer Cornyn? Being on the more conservative side, I'm curious about your opinion, Jen. We should be talking relatively soon. Thanks for just bearing with me. I guess to talk about some of the new, he's about sweet. All right. Or maybe not. He's just looking at the podium. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. This is awesome. We have 0 people watching. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. goes to talk about some of the polls that have
Folks, we'd
been.
like to start coming on in over here. We got plenty of space over here. We're going to start the program in a minute.
We're starting on a decent position. Got to get a picture of Cornyn. That was cool. He was a nice guy. Tell me which station you want.
Oh, I'm independent. I have Google YouTube. So yeah, if you want to search me, Dodge Landis Smith. But Cornyn, I'm a big supporter of. It's my number one. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, as you can see, Cornyn has good support. Live mic. As you can see, Cornyn has support from the law enforcement community, which I think, is going to make a real difference. I really do. So you can see, and this is how sometimes campaigns are run, and there's some organizations that are supportive.
It's going to be recorded right where you're at.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to shift to find a different seat then. This is pretty cool. We can see fine.
Thanks, Tucker.
All right, guys. There's Cornyn again. He is right here. Pretty cool. So again, I can give Cornyn a lot of respect. Out of all 5 candidates I've seen, he's the only one to show up on time. He's the only one to show up under. He's not an hour late, so you gotta give a lot of respect for that.
Really good for second tier.
Jesus Christ, another Texas Republican, says Jamie. Sheesh, thank God I left Texas ASAP. Hey, Cornyn's got a lot of support. Cornyn's kind of level-headed. Vote blue, vote Talarico, says Cole. Cole, if you want to check out my Talarico video, you can certainly do that. I was at the Talarico rally. We'll be at another Talarico rally as well. So if you're a fan of his, you'll have that material. All right, there's the senator. El Senador.
Speaking orders on the podium there.
There. Defog that. There we go.
I think we're ready to proceed, I believe.
Yep.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, obviously, Senator Cornyn. Welcome to the Forest Police Officers Association. We're so proud to host the senator today. There's not a better fan, a bigger advocate for law enforcement across the nation than Senator Cornyn. And obviously, it starts here. The local officials we have, Maddie Parker, the rest of our council people, Macy, Michael are here. Our state representatives, our county representatives, Charlie Guerin's out here. We cannot do the job without the support that we have. Again, we are blessed to be here in Fort Worth and Tarrant County, and again, at the national level, there's not a stronger representative, a stronger advocate for law enforcement, and I'm happy to, in our organization, to host the senator today. Thank y'all. John, I'll introduce John Peace. He's the president of the Dallas Police Association.
On behalf of the Dallas Police Association, good afternoon, everyone. I want to speak not only as a representative of our officers, but as also somebody who wears the badge on how important the senator is to everything we're doing. He has consistently been a leader who has stood with law enforcement, not just in words, but also in action. One of the most significant things for me and my family was the repeal of the windfall tax, to where people that chose public safety were being penalized when they came to retirement. And not only the officers, but our families. Thank you, sir. Support for law enforcement isn't just about retirement benefits or about equipment and funding, though he has fought for all those things. It's about understanding the human toll of this profession. This job is demanding, it's stressful, It exposes officers to trauma that nobody else will experience. And Senator Cornyn has backed legislation that is consistently fought on the right side for officers in dealing with that and making sure that we have the tools that we need. He stands for law and order. He stands for families who sacrifice birthdays, holidays, peace of mind, all so that their loved one can protect and serve people that are complete strangers to them. The Dallas Police Association, we fight every day for better pay, better benefits, better equipment, and stronger protections. And we also notice when policies are coming out that will directly benefit our members. Leadership matters and partnership matters. And that's why we are very happy to be standing here with the Senator today. Thank you very much, and let me introduce Scott Wheaton, President of CLEAT.
Thank you all very much. It's my pleasure to be here today. As Sean said, my name is Scott Leaton. I'm president of the Combined Law Enforcement Associations of Texas. I'm a police officer with the city of Corpus Christi just over 40 years now. And I want to follow up with some of what Sean said. I think the biggest thing of late is the vote that Senator Cornyn took on the Social Security Fairness Act, the elimination of weapon GPO. But Senator Cornyn isn't someone that just says things, he takes action. He was the sponsor of the Mental Health and Safe Communities Act, which brought forth funding so that one of the biggest problems that law enforcement deals with today is mental health for the people. 40 years ago, we didn't have these problems when I was on the job. Now, it probably takes up 20% of the people that are incarcerated in our jails. So the senator had the forethought to move forward on this, and it brought forth the funding so that the officers can have tools. It brought the crisis intervention teams, the training, so that the officers can deal with this. And not only does it help the officers out, but it helps each and every one of you out as the constituents of the senator. Second thing that the senator did was the CARE Act. And this was the training and the funding so that the officers would have first aid kits, trauma kits, tourniquets, things like that, so that the officers are safe. But again, I speak for in Corpus, our officers use these tourniquets on civilians where it's car wrecks, stabbings, or accidents. So as the president of CLEAT, we are truly honored and privileged to endorse Senator Cornyn. At this time, I'd like to introduce Clint McNair of the Texas Municipal Police Association.
I'm incredibly honored to stand here with the senator, with these law enforcement leaders from across Texas. If you'll forgive me, our president was supposed to be here and has a 1-year-old that is very sick. So you're stuck with me, and I just slid in here with my hair on fire. As Scott and the others mentioned, it's not just about words, it's action. You're at those in D.C. when the senator was having to make some really tough decisions on the Windfall Elimination Act, and sometimes it's a tough job to make tough decisions. And we were thankful that he stood with law enforcement through the night, quite frankly, on some votes, and made tough calls to stand with us. Public service, like these gentlemen chose to serve your communities and to serve your country, is thankless. And it evolves, it always evolves. I started in the Marines and moved on. I retired from the police department. The senator started as a judicial judge, where he's served his community. He was on the Texas Supreme Court, served as the 49th Texas Attorney General with Governors Perry and George W. Bush, and has served as a senator for a long time. And through all of his service to his community and our country, he's been a friend of law enforcement. And through the good, the bad, the tough decisions, he's always stood by with law enforcement. And things aren't getting better with immigration. That affects law enforcement. I live in Kaufman County, where there's development being proposed underway now. that is not in the best interest of our country. And it's going to take people like the senator that are willing to stand up and stop people coming into our country that have no desire to assimilate. They have no desire to be a part of our country and what we stand with. And it's going to take people that have a vested interest to stand in tough times and make tough decisions, just as law enforcement has to every second, on every call, every day. So on behalf of the more than 34,000 members of TMPA, we are honored to support Senator Cornyn.
Good afternoon. My name is Maddie Parker, and I'm honored to serve as the 45th mayor of this awesome city that you're sitting in today. But importantly, I'm here to support my friend and a friend of Fort Worth, Senator John Cornyn. I don't have to tell the people on this stage this, they understand it fully, that elections have consequences. And frankly, this election for the state of Texas is very consequential. Senator John Cornyn is a serious man who has served his entire tenure in both state and state elected office, down to being a judge, and he's focused on being a public servant. That's been the theme you've heard from these other men and women that are willing to serve in law enforcement. The dozens of organizations across the state of Texas that are recognized today as endorsing this senator because he is a man of his word. He stands up for those that are in need, and he tackles the toughest challenges at a policy level, at a national level, that is incredibly important. The other thing I think is really important to understand is he's a serious person. He was joking earlier that he's been referred to as a workhorse. I can't think of a higher compliment of someone that has served all these years at the U.S. Senate level, recognizing the importance of his office, and importantly, his service to the entire state of Texas. In closing, I can share with you, both in my time as mayor and beforehand, working in Texas politics, the person you always chose to call was Senator John Cornyn. He was someone that you respected, that would get in the trenches with you on tough issues, no matter what they were. And today you're really seeing and hearing this focus on law enforcement needs and public safety. We're sitting in the home of the Fort Police Officers Association, the very best police department in the entire country, might I add. And we couldn't do our job, we could not support our police officers in this city if you did not have national leaders like Senator John Cornyn. So I appreciate you being here, sharing your enthusiasm. The most important thing you can do is vote in this election. And Senator, it's an honor to support you and endorse you in this election. Absolutely. Next up is our Congressman, Craig Goldman from the 12th Congressional District.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Craig Goldman. I'm Congressman for the 12th Congressional District, representing parts of Tarrant and Parker counties. I'm honored to be here today. It's great to be back at the Fort Worth POA and with my friends from TMPA and CLEAT. We did a lot of great work in my 12 years in the State House, passed the anti-defund the police bill, another great piece of legislation. And I'm here today to show my support for a great man in Senator John Cornyn. You've heard one word throughout this afternoon, and it's respect. And I can tell you, my first year in the U.S. Congress, no one has more respect in that U.S. Capitol building than Senator John Cornyn. Not only in the U.S. Senate, but also on the House side. And yes, believe it or not, the House and Senate do come together from time to time. In fact, Senator Cornyn comes over. We have a weekly Texas delegation lunch, and Senator Cornyn comes over quite often because that's how it's supposed to work. We are to come together as one and talk and communicate to benefit the great state of Texas. And Senator Cornyn, we know we can count on whenever we need someone on the other side of the Capitol to be with us, to represent Texas. And I just can't be more privileged and more proud to be here to support Senator Cornyn. He's a great man. He has tremendous respect. You can count on him. And as we all know, early voting is going on right now. And you're doing the right thing to do for Texas to go pull that lever or go fill in that box for Senator John Cornyn. Thank you very much.
My name is Ayaan Hirsi Ali, and I'm here in Texas to support Senator John Cornyn. I was born in Somalia. I grew up under Sharia law. At 5, I underwent female genital mutilation. At 22, I was forced into an arranged marriage. By the grace of God, I escaped. For decades, I have studied Islamist movements, fighting advising governments and warning the West. I have testified before Congress and briefed security agencies in Europe and in America. I know the Muslim Brotherhood. I know their strategies. I know political Islam because it wants to seduce me. And I'm telling you, it is here in Texas, and you must stop it. Federal authorities are currently investigating a planned Texas development, housing, mosque, school, retail, built by Muslims for Muslims. The question nobody is asking loudly enough is, where is the money coming from? Is it coming from Qatar? Is it coming from Turkey? Both have spent billions planting radical Islamic ideology across the West. But even if raised locally, the mechanism is the same. Zakat, Islam's mandatory religious tax, requires every Muslim who has an income to give 2.5% annually, even if that income is from welfare benefits. And among those entitled to receive it are those fighting in the cause of Allah. That is a phrase that justified jihad, indoctrination, and the slow, deliberate funding of conquest for centuries. The late Yusuf al-Qaradawi, the brother's most influential theologian, the man who issued fatwas from Qatar that reached millions of viewers on Al Jazeera, the man who blessed suicide bombings and called the Holocaust a divine punishment. He laid out the blueprint before he died. He called it the triangle of conquest. First, da'wah or religious outreach, winning hearts and minds. Second, ideological penetration through institutions, schools, and media. And third, demographic growth, exploiting the fact that, for instance, Europe's native birth rates could not compete. He said it plainly. He said proudly. And his followers are executing it faithfully, not just in Europe, but right here in the Northern States. This Muslim Brotherhood operates in Texas through CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. This front gives the Brotherhood respectability, allowing them to peddle their ideology as mainstream advocacy. This is the infrastructure Muslim Republicans leverage when they come courting conservative circles. What is not voiced publicly is often shared more candidly behind closed doors. An Islamic imam in Texas said recently, and I quote, "Mamdani was a victory for the Ummah." Ummah means the global Muslim community. The idea that Muslims worldwide are one nation bound by faith regardless of where they live. The imam continued, we succeed in conquering Vienna by the sword for 200 years, and now it's 20% Muslim. We need to enlarge the Muslim population in America, just like we did in Europe. This is a religious leader speaking openly about demographic strategy. He is telling his followers that what couldn't be achieved by conquest will be achieved by immigration and birth rates. And he's telling them to start in Texas. Religious freedom is the pretext. Parallel societies are the goal. I watched this happen in Europe, in London, Birmingham, Amsterdam, and Stockholm. Entire neighborhoods became unclaimed. The native population moved out, Muslims moved in, and slowly a different system took hold. London has areas where women can't walk alone. Birmingham has Sharia councils overriding British law entirely. Stockholm now has the highest rate of sexual assault in Europe. This nightmare unfolded gradually. Muslim Brotherhood operatives participated in local elections. They ran for school boards. They donated to campaigns. They spoke the language of values and family. They said, we are just like you. We're liberals, and we're conservative, and well-meaning people believe that. This is happening now in Texas. Muslim Republicans are approaching GOP candidates, offering donations and votes. They say we share your values. We are socially conservative. We oppose gender ideology in schools. Don't believe it. Their quote-unquote family values mean women as property. Their morality means Sharia of the Constitution. This is extremism dressed in conservative clothing. Senator John Cornyn knows this. He understands how movements work. When Muslim Republicans face it in terms of faith and family, Senator Cornyn looks beyond the words to the intent. He is a good man, and he has Texas's best interests at heart. The same cannot be said for Ken Paxton, an opportunist of the highest order. After Governor Abbott declared the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization in November, Texas chapters of CARE sued to block the designation. What did Paxton do? He defended it. Then, when the political winds shifted, he reversed himself completely. Earlier this month, Paxton sued to shut down the very same organizations he just defended. Paxton is a chameleon, a cynical operator changing positions on what serves him in the moment. Ken Paxton has more scandals than Ilhan Omar. We must ask, who is bank calling Mr. Paxton? Since 2022, nearly 200,000 has flowed from Dr. Anush Ahmed, a Pakistani-born federal fugitive, wanted for wire fraud, embezzlement, and money laundering. A man accused of stealing $300 million from Medicare while Americans were locked down, laid off, and separated from their loved ones. He fled to Dubai to escape justice. A man recently dragged out in hiding in Siberia. This is who fans Ken Paxton. Is this the standard Texans deserve? The answer is no. The stakes couldn't be higher. While Paxton pocketed money from a financial predator, Senator Cornyn was fighting for your safety. He authored the No Sharia Act to ensure that no foreign religious code overrides the Constitution. He targeted the tax-exempt status of groups working to plant foreign religious law on American soil. He co-sponsored legislation labeling the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization. Senator Cornyn fought to bar Hamas, Hezbollah, and ISIS members from entering this country. He backed sanctions against Iran and its proxy network. And just last week, Senator Cornyn introduced the Defeat Sharia Law in America Act designed to prevent religious codes from overriding civil protections. One law, one constitution, one America. This is what real leadership looks like. Sharia is a death cult. It kills freedom. It kills equality. It's antithetical to everything this great state represents. The Muslim Brotherhood is its political arm. I have seen it. I have lived it. I escaped it. Do not let it take root here. Do not let Texas become London, Stockholm, Dearborn, or New York City. Senator Cornyn will fight to keep Texas free, not with words, but with legislation, with sanctions, with the full weight of the United States Senate. He has the record to prove it. He has the courage to continue it. President Trump stands with him. I stand with him. Now, Texas, it's your turn on March the 3rd. Vote Senator Cornyn. Thank you.
Well, that was interesting.
Well, and thank you very much for being here today.
Can you hear me?
For sharing your testimony about the threats that face our state and our nation and our civilization. I also want to thank, of course, all of our friends with law enforcement and appreciate their support. Over many years, we've been partners. You know, a lot of this transcends politics. It's based on personal relationships. It's based on trust. It's based on history of working together. So Sean and Jesse and Zach, thank you all for each of you and the organizations you represent. Your rank and file members are the only thing standing between us and chaos and anger. And frankly, it makes me angry when I see people like James Tallarico saying that our law enforcement is the enemy and illegal immigrants are our friend. He has it exactly opposite, exactly wrong, 180%. And then my friend Mayor Parker and Craig Goldman, thank you for your friendship these many years, and it's a great honor to have you all here today. And thank you all for coming. We are on the second day of early voting, and I am mentioned March the 3rd. We vote early in Texas. We don't vote often, but we do vote early. And my message here today is that is pretty straightforward. Complacency is a killer. Complacency in relationships, complacency in our careers, in our country, and even great political parties like the Republican Party of Texas. I'm proud of the work that we've done over the years. People like Craig, Charlie Guerin, and so many others who are here today are building the Republican Party. We haven't elected a Democrat since 1994. But all of that is at risk in this election. Texas is the envy of the nation. It's because we have strong conservative leaders, from the governor all the way down to the state legislature, who have enacted the right policies. This is all about economic freedom and opportunity. That's why you see so many people voting with their feet on a daily basis to come to the Lone Star State. But it's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. As Governor Perry, who was with us yesterday, liked to point out, he said, this is the Texas model. Sometimes people call it the Texas miracle. And yes, God has blessed our great state. But it's about the policies that have been allowed the flourishing of hardworking Texans who still believe in the American dream. And a government that gets out of their way and lets them reach their God-given potential. That's what's made us a great state, the greatest state and the greatest nation in the world. But I'm here today to tell you that all of that is at risk. I'm proud of the work I've done with President Trump. You know, part of the job, if you're in the majority in the Congress, you work with the president of the same party. And you may have seen a few advertisements lately. We talk about my record supporting President Trump 99.3% of the time. Don't tell Ted Cruz I said it, but it's better than Ted Cruz. And one of the reasons President Trump got elected in 2024 is because of the open border policies of Joe Biden. And I'm proud to have the endorsement of the Border Patrol Union, who were with me yesterday, because of my work together with them to support a secure border, which we now have. Joe Biden and the Democrats said we need to pass some new laws to secure the border. Well, turns out all we needed was a new president who would enforce the law, Donald J. Trump. Inflation is now on the run. The economy is growing. Crime is at a 20-year low, thanks to the great work of these gentlemen and the folks they represent. And the United States, on the global stage, is once again respected and feared by our adversaries, unlike Joe Biden. It's been a great honor representing this state for a long time now. A lot of things that we've done together. Most recently, in the Working Family Tax Cuts Act, Governor Abbott called me up and he said, you know, Texas taxpayers paid $11 billion to try to secure the border with Operation Lone Star by paying DPS and National Guard. And this is the federal government's responsibility. We'd like to get paid back. Well, working with Congressman Goldman, the entire Texas delegation, we were able to get the job done. $11.1 billion coming back to Texas taxpayers. And when it comes to national security, obviously, Tarrant County, Fort Worth is home to one of the great defense companies, Lockheed Martin, employs a lot of people here. I was with Secretary Hegseth a few weeks ago on his Arsenal of Freedom tour, celebrating the incredible work done by the men and women who work at Lockheed Martin. But we know that our principal adversary in the world now is China. And one of the things that post-COVID we realized is how vulnerable we were, and things that were made overseas, pandemic, natural disaster, or heaven forbid, a military conflict. And China continues to use the process of minerals and rare earth elements over our head. We want you to do, we'll cut you off. The other thing that I realized we were dependent on, not just masks and gowns during COVID, but it was literally advanced semiconductors. Now, I'm a recovering lawyer by profession. I'm not an expert in technology, but you know, my staff, I asked them, I said, what's the big deal about advanced semiconductors? And they said, well, think of it this way, everything with an off and on switch needs advanced semiconductors. And of course, we have some great Texas companies, like Texas Instruments and others. We've got companies like Samsung and TSMC and others who are reshoring those jobs here in America to make us less vulnerable. And I was the principal sponsor of the CHIPS and Science Act that made some of that reshoring possible and reduced those vulnerabilities. But we still have a lot of work to do, as you've seen. Unfortunately, we've seen our Democratic friends basically been a wholesale resistance to anything and everything that President Trump wants to do. Most recently, with the longest shutdown in American history of the United States Congress, the defunding of the government, and now, strangely enough, at a time when President Trump was elected to enforce our immigration laws, they want to defund the Department of Homeland Security and ICE. And they want to criticize professional law enforcement officers that are doing nothing more and nothing less than enforcing laws that Congress has passed. And of course, this is the same party that believes that defunding police or abolishing ICE. They have no respect for our law enforcement officials. And that's one of the key differences in this race. You heard Diane talk about Ken Paxton's record. Ken Paxton is the chief law enforcement officer of the state of Texas. It's a job I once held for 4 years. He says he doesn't trust law enforcement. He says he sued the Department of Public Safety, and not a single law enforcement organization in the state of Texas has endorsed him in his race for the United States Senate. I think there's a message there. And this is another example of the differences between me and the Attorney General, is I back the blue. And I'm honored that they are here today backing me. So we have a lot of races on the ballot come March the 3rd and then also in November. And it makes a difference who's at the top of the ballot. Because if Ken Paxton is the nominee, we could well experience a massacre. And the first Democrat elected since 1994 in the state of Texas. I know people assume that Texas as a red state, will always be a red state. But when you nominate a flawed individual with the sort of political baggage that Ken Paxton has, you are risking all that. You're risking the United States Senate seat. You're risking President Trump's agenda during his remaining 2 years in office. And you are risking everybody else on the ballot below the Senate race. Senate race is at the top of the ballot. Then the House of Representatives. And of course, that includes the 5 new congressional seats that have recently been redrawn by the Texas legislature. If you have somebody at the top of the ticket who basically is an albatross around the neck of all those candidates, you risk not only the Senate seat, but all those seats, all those elections below the Senate race. Now, I believe that character still matters to the people of Texas. I'm betting character still matters. Ken Paxton is betting that character doesn't matter. He thinks this is all baked in the cake, and that people don't care. I think they do. And I think it's about trust. I've worked hard during my time in the Senate to build relationships of trust, not only with the people here behind me, but with 32 million Texans. And I've worked hard to try to earn that trust. But if you can't trust somebody to tell you the truth, to taxpayers, to their own senior staff who turn them into the FBI, or interfering with a federal investigation into a campaign donor, if his own family can't trust him, you can't trust him either. I can't trust him. Texas is worth fighting for. I know we believe that. We don't need any more vanity artists or vanity projects and performance artists in Washington, D.C. We got more than enough. People who think being elected to public office is about them. It's not about us. It's about you. It's about all of us. It's about serving others, not serving yourself. Now, it is true that Senator Phil Graham referred to me as a workhorse. And originally when I heard that, I thought, well, Phil, you can do better than that. But I'd much rather be a workhorse than a show horse, because what I believe that this job entails is actually producing results. So here's the bottom line. We're here today to encourage all of you and everybody within the sound of my voice to
Can you not hear?
To vote early. Obviously, yesterday was the first day, today is the second day. But I want to point out one of our guests today, Carla Wicks, the Gold Star Mom. Carla, where are you?
I'm back here.
Well, thank you, Carl, for being here today and for your sacrifice and for your son's service to our nation. There are so many heroes among us, and who have been among us, who are no longer with us, who have made this nation great. But it takes character, it takes selflessness, it takes people willing to serve others and not just themselves. So as I was saying, this election is upon us, and it's going to be really, really important to get people to the polls. We had a special election here in Tarrant County in just the recent days where we had 15% of registered voters, I believe, turn out. We know that, so it's really important for you and I and everybody you know to vote in this election. We make it really easy to vote in these elections because we start so early. Early voting lasts for 2 weeks leading up to March the 3rd. So I'm asking all of you to vote like the future depends on it, because it absolutely does. And in conclusion, let me just say I've run in a lot of elections, and I've learned one thing to be absolutely true, and that is the candidate who gets the most votes wins. It's not rocket science. So let's get people out to the polls and vote. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Woo! All right, guys. Please subscribe. With Cornyn, I've seen every candidate running for Senate.
Take some questions from me.
Yes, sir.
Last night, Ken Paxton took some questions from the board last night, and he said you outspent him. You have outspent him in this race, yet you're still trailing the polls.
He's jealous.
Do you think your message is not getting across the voters?
Well, I mean, the election's still in front of us, right? Which means the campaign continues. And this is the first time that the Attorney General's come out of his basement to actually confront the public. And I was really glad to see him, for example, on Fox News Sunday. So he asked by Shannon Green questions that people have been dying to ask him for a long, long time. And so the campaign continues. It's going to be competitive between me and the Attorney General. The Congressman isn't going to make it past March the 3rd, but then we have the runoff on May the 26th. So we're just getting started. and I know you'll enjoy every minute of it.
Senator, you said this would be a massacre here in Texas if Ken Paxton is nominee. What about nationally? Can Republicans hold up control of the United States Senate if he's the nominee here in Texas?
Well, first of all, I think he could well lose the race if he is the nominee in Texas, which is, would be going backwards. Secondly, if he is the nominee, he will either lose or he will win by a razor thin margin. And it will cost hundreds of millions of dollars to try to save it. That's money that could be spent and should be spent, in my view, to pick up a Senate seat in Georgia, Michigan, and New Hampshire, and also in a probably contested seat in North Carolina. So he will be a drain on resources for Republicans nationwide. And I know President Trump cares a lot about the House of Representatives. He doesn't want to get impeached a third time. That's why I think I can help.
I'll try the economy.
The down ballot races here in Texas. But also, we could well lose the Senate if we're not careful. So I just think this is one that we ought to put in the bank. And we can do that on March the 3rd and May the 26th. And we can use those resources to help win Senate seats across the country, to help the president with his second term agenda.
Senator, President Trump fully understands the dynamics you just outlined.
President Trump's a smart guy. He's got great people around him, and I know he fully understands.
Senator, I wanted to ask you about your proudest accomplishments in office. And what would you tell voters out there who are still struggling to make up their minds?
My greatest accomplishment?
Yes.
Well, glad to give you a list, Jack, but let's go back to 3 Supreme Court justices that transformed the U.S. Supreme Court. I've been serving on the Senate Judiciary Committee. People who care about life issues. Obviously, what happened with the Dobbs decision and Roe versus Wade was highly significant. I'm proud of the support I have from the pro-life community. And I think that was a very, very important accomplishment. But the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that we passed in 2017, when I was the whip, the official vote counter, we got that done, which was the first tax reform we've seen in about 25 years. And now we followed that with the Working Family Tax Cuts Act this last summer. And I mentioned the reimbursement of the Texans for the Border Patrol expenses. But really the list kind of goes on and on. I'm proud of the fact that I've been able to assemble a very good team of people around me that typically rank as among the most effective members of the U.S. Senate. And again, that's not about me, but it's about what I have an opportunity to do for the people of Texas. And I'm proud of what that record is.
Senator, what's your take on the results? You mentioned in Tarrant County the Republicans who didn't turn out and vote, but in that particular special election, 1 out of 4 Republicans who came out and voted for the Democrat, people with a Republican voting record. Yesterday, the Democrats had a first-day turnout that was triple what they've had in previous elections. What's your take on what's happened to the Republicans?
Well, I think Democrats are energized. I think they've got full-blown Trump derangement syndrome, and they have a very active base who turn out to vote. And to me, that's 90% of it. It's who shows up to vote. And if only 15% of registered voters show up, they're the ones whose votes are counting, while the rest of the folks are staying at home and they're not being represented. So that's my message today, that if we want to make sure we keep Texas red, we want to be sure we can win down ballot, if we want to make sure that we continue to be the envy of the nation when it comes to conservative leadership and the policies that we have that have made us that, then we need to show up and vote in the election, because the pro-resistance crowd are energized as a result of Trump's derangement syndrome.
Senator Cornyn, earlier, late last week, in order to raise some questions about potential voter fraud from Representative Hunt in this race, your campaign released his provisional ballot for 2016, unredacted, including his address and the last 4 digits of the Social Security number. He has He has now filed a police report down there in Harris County. What are your thoughts on that whole situation and Hunt's response to that?
It's a public record.
Senator, I wanted to ask you about all the money that is being spent in this race. You alluded to it before. Ad Impact Politics says more than $98 million has been spent in the Democratic and Republican in advertising so far and in reservations, and that you have spent, or people on your behalf have spent, $59 million. Should an incumbent have to spend all that money to stay in office?
Well, I see we have a number of TV stations represented here today, and the TV stations didn't charge so much for their rates. We could do it a lot cheaper. But Texas is a big state, and it's hard to get your message out, and it takes money. And I'm proud of the fact that there are so many people who've done so deep to support me, because apparently they prove the job I've done and they want me in return. So I'm grateful for that. And when I hear my opponents whining, and that I think is the appropriate word to use, about the fact that they can't raise money and we are able to do so, I think they realize that they're losing as a result. But look, this is just a means to an end. It's not an end in and of itself. And some of these Senate races gotten incredibly expensive. You may recall the Ohio Senate race, 2024, was a $500 million race. But it's going to be a whole lot more expensive for Republicans to hold on to the seat if I'm not the nominee than if I am. So I think this is a case of smart money being donated early in order to avoid a lot more expense later on.
Senator, you're going to the 5th term in office. What would be your response to some who may say you've been in Washington too long?
Well, I do work in a forward operating base in hostile territory. But I'm fighting on behalf of Texas and Texas values and trying to take the Texas model and to bring it to the nation, because I think that would be good for the country. Good news is, if you've been doing something a while, you learn. And you learn how to do it better. And I think I'm a whole lot more effective now than I was when I first started. So thank God I'm healthy. I love my job. I love it, this great state. I'm proud of what we've done to build the Republican Party in Texas, and I'm not willing to stand on the sidelines and see it destroyed by nominating a flawed and corrupt nominee like Ken Paxton.
Last one.
I wanted to ask a little bit about, President Trump getting into this race. Have you had any conversations with him recently about an endorsement? Is that something you're expecting to happen? Would it be on the runoff phase if the race does go into runoff? I just kind of, are you worried at all that he hasn't endorsed yet?
Well, I would be happy to have the president's support. He most recently referred to all three of us in the race as friends. I've already talked about my voting record, supporting the president. And so I sort of get it as an incumbent office holder. When people ask me to endorse in a contested primary, they're usually asking me to disappoint about half of my supporters. And so I can understand the president's reluctance to do that. And
I understand, Jim.
We're
going to go to all the events.
In the meantime, we're not waiting.
Understandable.
And we're making the case and doing the best we can to earn the support of the voters and to put my record out there and put my electability out there in terms of its comparison to that of the Attorney General, who I think would be an unmitigated disaster if he's the nominee in November.
Thank you all. Thank you.
All right, guys. There we have it. I've now seen every candidate running for this position. I'll catch up on some of your chats. Listen, guys, I'm going to platform people because I'm talking to voters. I'm getting an up-close look. I'm getting full remarks that the media doesn't cover, and that's going to be with every person running. So it doesn't mean I endorse them or anything. Mr. Fig, I just want to shake your hand. I love your analysis. I have a little YouTube, and you're like the Bible for me to understand this race and come all the way from New York. But all I got to do is watch you, and then I'm good. Honor to you. Of course. All right, guys, we're gonna catch up what you said, what you're talking about the chat. Sorry to get to ask a question. I can't continue watching. Clearly, see nothing's changed later. Yeah. Well, you know, again, guys, I'm gonna go to each and every event. That's why I'm here for a month. So, what do you think? Good, right? You did a good job. Thanks again. Very nice to meet you. Hopefully, I'll see you on the trail. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Good coverage of Jasmine yesterday, Dodge. Thank you. Thank you, Margarita. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was just with Jasmine the other day. Right? Well, I was with Kat Paxson yesterday, but Jasmine Crockett the day before, and Tellerico the week before. So we're gonna take a slight breather tomorrow. Nothing. Then on Monday we're gonna do James Tellerico, and then on Tuesday we're gonna do Wesley Hunt, and then maybe we'll circle back to Paxton and Crockett. I want to see more of Crockett. Crockett's been getting me the best views. People, here's the thing in terms of social media attention, Crockett is beating Tellerico. In terms of I don't think a lot of people are watching for Cornyn, let's be honest, guys. But in terms of media attention, I definitely am gravitating towards Crockett. And she's fun. She's fun to watch. She's fun to listen to. We'll see Cornyn chat a little bit. Pardon me, guys. All right, guys. Love you all. Please subscribe. Hope you enjoy this coverage. Bye-bye.